Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, here. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi. And our returning psychic, our guest psychic, who does the it was like a doctor. I call her my favorite doctor, Vanessa Orr. Are you there, Vanessa?
I am here. Hello, Barbara, and hello, Jonathan. Thank you.
Hi, Vanessa.
Great.
Hey, Barbara.
So
I just love
excited.
being here on Monday nights. Oh, me too. I love being here. Yes.
Me too.
Oh, and by the way,
It's kind of
Vanessa,
weird, though. Our holiday weekend, did it seem like a holiday to you guys? Because to me, it did not.
Yeah.
I worked all weekend, yeah.
Me too. Plus, I didn't go anywhere because of coronavirus.
No. The only thing
No,
I
I know.
remember about holidays, about this weekend, is that I ordered Barbara's present. She's getting her own sign. And the funny thing is, Vanessa, is they sent me a notice. They say, your sign has been shipped. You should receive it by August 21st. It's a ship.
Oh, wow. Right on
How
my
are they going to
birthday.
deliver this thing by the Pony Express? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, but that's my birthday. That's funny.
That is a long
It's
time.
funny
That's
that
a
they
long
put
time.
that one date on there, which is my birth date. So that it would be cool if it came right on my birthday. What is that?
August 31st.
What day, I
It was
mean.
ridiculous.
I wonder what day my birthday falls
Express.
on. I should look. August 21st. Oh, wow. I'm so lucky, you guys. It falls on a Friday.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. And hopefully
you'll be-
people will be wanting to go somewhere, like maybe two people that I know don't have coronavirus.
Yeah. It's the same thing here in Texas. It is shut down. It is quiet.
Wow. The only good thing about it
Yeah.
right now I can see is no traffic around, again. Everything was coming back, and now it's like becoming a ghost town again.
It's true. It's true.
I went to see my second favorite doctor today, and
All right.
I had a checkup. It was just a normal checkup, and it was like, we go in and they give us their masks, and it was just, we go in and they sit us down. It's really strange, there wasn't a lot of people in the waiting room, and so
they take your
that was
temperature now.
Yes, they do.
Well, that's
Practically
good that
everywhere
you're taking
you go.
care of things.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we do have to take care of things, right? And,
Yes.
you hate it when people say this is your new normal. My mother's like, I hate it when people say that, but it's true. I mean, it is the new normal.
There might be a more optimistic way of saying that. The truth is that every year is, in a sense, the new normal. I mean, we're not going to get 2019 again. I think that the way of looking at it is adapting, to where we can do some of the things that we used to do, like go to the gas station or, or
some of us are doing that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, Johnny.
that's okay.
Oh, gosh. Okay. But you know what? I have to ask Vanessa, though, on the subject of paranormal, because now, after talking to you for a few minutes before the show, I have a question. How does one acquire an entity, or was it already there, this entity that is bothering me?
I got a yes on that.
That it was already there before I arrived into this new apartment that was new a year ago.
I got a yes on that. But this one that is accessing your apartment, Barbara, is rather nomadic. Sometimes when I do readings for people, I always this is what I always do. Whatever's coming up, I will check their residence or offices, where they occupy most of the time, or where an area that they favor. And most of the time I don't find a paranormal situation. Sometimes I do, and that will play into the daily life that the person experiences. This situation that you're experiencing, and maybe your listeners would like to know what it is that you've heard. Maybe you want to tell them what happened.
Yes. Okay, for 2 weeks, the TV has been broken down. I did not unplug it because I check it from time to time. I've unplugged it and plugged it back in. I've tried to reboot it. I've tried everything I could do. Basically, I've checked all the connections. Well, it still was not turning on. 2 nights ago, it woke me up, literally, by clicking. Like the on and off switch, click, 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 nonstop. I woke up, and a couple of clicks, and then it stopped. It would not click anymore. And that was so spooky. That freaked me out.
That's exactly right. And I picked up immediately a nomadic male entity. And for all your listeners out there, I suggested to Barbara that after the show, I always do work after Life, Laughter, and Happiness on Monday nights. I do extra work, and I will access Barbara's apartment in California, and I will walk through it again and clear it. This is a guy that, does he know he's dead? I get to know. He's rather nomadic. So sometimes here's an example. People are in car accidents. They don't know sometimes that they're dead. And an intersection, a busy intersection, can have statistics wherein you have a number of accidents. Sometimes it's just a four-way stop, and they have to have a number of statistics that will happen at that particular corner before they put in, say, a signal. So I'm really picking up a lot of vibration that this guy was involved in a car accident. I'm getting a yes on that, not far from your apartment. It looks to be in the 60s. I'd have to do a little bit further reading, which I will do after the show, Barbara. But what happens is that they meander and they wander. Oftentimes they will find a thoroughfare because there's a lot of energy up and down a thoroughfare, cars, traffic. Sometimes they'll find schools because there's a lot of energy at schools. How about a mall? But right now we are in a complete shutdown, so there's more confusion for earthbound souls. Back to, for example, the example I'm drawing from here is an accident, where someone dies in the accident, and they step out of their body. Their soul steps out of their body. It is a literal and final out-of-body experience, and they haven't transitioned. So I am being shown a little bit more as this reading compels, but I will clear that for you because it's odd that I've been working on that television set since the onset of Mercury retrograde when it began in June, and we don't have a success story.
That's right, we don't, and that normally works. And you know what? This TV is not old. It was a nice flat screen. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no reason for it to be doing that.
Well, we're going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do the reading tonight. I'll clear your I'll clear your home, and I will do a remote view, and I will clear your home. It's interesting because people have called me from all over the world and talked to me about their experiences. I have a couple in Ireland that, oh my gosh, all they did was fight. And I said, why is it that I keep picking up on a church and a churchyard? And I explained what I kept being shown, and they said, well, this was a church, but it was converted to condominiums, and we live here. And I just explained a lot because I kept seeing this pastor, this guy in a black robe with like a white collar, and I didn't tell them everything. And he was very angry, and he was pacing back and forth in this particular area. And I described this room to them, which I said it looks to be a living room. And they said they always feel that that's where they always have their fights. And they always felt a lot of anger in that room. What it is residual energy, and it can happen on the clock over and over and over, day after day. It's just compelled to do that. In this situation, I can't remember the reading. I did it a couple years ago, but it was an old energy, and I told them what I was shown, and they said that was after, this gentleman that I kept seeing in their living room, that energy that I saw in the particular, I think it was like the 1700s or 1600s. The church had been built before that. So this was an old church that was converted to apartments, condominiums. And I described their neighbors to them. And they confirmed the neighbors that I saw. I have worked on that. There's still some anxiety in this over the last 2 years between this couple. And so all that to say that when we have issues in our lives, if it's an illness or a relationship is not working or a career is not thriving, a business is not thriving, a child is not doing well, check around your surroundings to see if there are any hauntings. And this is a haunted wall. At your house, that's a haunted wall. So
okay, it's a wall.
Well, that's where I see him. I don't see him coming away from that wall very much, but it looks. The TV seems to have its back to the street. Does that make sense? That wall and the TV has its back to the street. Is that right?
Let me think. Okay, the main street not, but the parking lot. That would be the way to the parking lot.
Okay, that wall that it would be run parallel to the parking lot. Okay. And
that wall would be the direction if you're going sideways with the wall. That goes to the main street that's big, and okay. I would call that a major thoroughfare.
Yeah, that's what they follow. They like to follow major thoroughfares. How about this? I have cleared properties in the Midwest, just pretty much all over the place. It's been very interesting over the years. And one of the places I cleared last year or the year before, it was along the Oregon Trail. I didn't know that. I didn't know where they lived. I cleared it long distance, but I said, look, I'm not going to ask you where you live. I'm not going to ask for a street address, but I keep being shown that the Oregon Trail went through there. Oh, yeah, it did. And what happens is that, as we know, these cases of history that we've, as students, you and I and Jonathan, we all grew up studying history and, from first grade, second grade on up through college, right? And in the scope of that, we learn about some of the events in history, for example, here domestically and globally, what happened. And the short side of the story is that this house, it's still haunted. They still have issues. But a lot of the issues have been resolved by releasing these trapped entities, these trapped earthbound souls. And I was so surprised to find out. And I also was able to explain to them the lay of the land. Like I asked them about different structures, which would be neighbors' homes around them. And it was correct. That went on Oregon Trail, went through there. And another thing I kept telling them, I said, I keep seeing a prison. I said, but I'm hard pressed to call it a mental institute, but it looks to be abandoned, which is prime paranormal real estate. And sure enough, they confirmed with me that there was such a structure, like not far from their home, well within half a mile.
Wow.
So I know these things do happen. They get haunted because it's the stress of life, and that's why we always have to stop and correct these issues. Like if someone is in your life that's not beneficial to you, they make you ill. Their value, and we all have value. I mean, everyone's valuable, but their value outrides the value that you keep them in. In other words, they just really help you. And so their benefits underweigh what they are in your life. And we can't always be with everyone in our lives. I know that there are people in my life that I would prefer to have in my life, but I always wonder, what does that look like? You know, I haven't seen those people for so long. It would be different. So it is in life that we have to solve mysteries. Otherwise, we literally will take them to our grave. That's why people say life is so short. You know, you have to be solid about what you're doing in life. So what we have here at your house, back to your situation, Barbara, is an anxious spirit. And electrical items and electricity are attractive to haunted. They're attractive to ghosts. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's a ghost.
Are you ready to take a call?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One more second, though. Okay. Thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you for clearing that. It was very spooky, but I also just want to know, is there anything I'm doing to attract paranormal activity around me, or is it's not me?
No. Actually, I'm going to tell you, and I want everyone to understand what Barb, I was telling Jonathan the other day, I've noticed that your skill set has accelerated. And when you walk in energies like this, metaphysical energies like this, and Barbara does, you know, she works with me, and Jonathan works with me on Monday nights. I mean, we all convene here to help all the callers and all the listeners, and that's what Life, Laughter, and Happiness does on Monday nights. And your gifts and talents will accelerate because you're walking in these energy fields. And I'm going to point something out. It doesn't take much. And what it does, it accelerates your healing. And it accelerates your capacity to retain information, and you have a willingness to study and a willingness to investigate and rectify and correct issues. Like that's what's going on at Barbara's home right now. So it's not you, Barbara, but this is a light that you have and a light that your daughter Priscilla has, is that this entity most likely sees that light. And so I'm going to check into him and see if I can send him on to the other side.
Okay. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my own research and find out what happened years and years and generations before on that land, because that, to me, is super interesting right there.
It is. I think I've mentioned in this show before that I could not figure out what was going on here. And I finally did some research, and this is where Stephen F. Austin would gather all his soldiers, and they ran drills here and camped here, right where I bought this house. I mean, it's like, could I get any more weird about what I had to buy for a property? I mean, I bought this place 10, 12 years ago, and it was haunted. I mean, I was just talking to Rich about it the other night. The night I moved in, haunted to the hilt. It's like, what more could go wrong in 2008? And here I was, just petrified. So even though I've been in haunted spaces, I know. I mean, it was terrifying, Barbara. The stuff I could tell you, it was just too much. It was too much. So, yes, I'm ready for the next caller, and I will do that work after the show for you, Barbara, and I will clear things for Jonathan, too.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. Hi,
You're
caller. You are on with psychic medium Vanessa Orr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Hello to everyone. Thank you for taking my call. I have spoken to you. It's been months ago, so I miss you. I miss you all. My question tonight is, oh God, I want to ask a lot of questions. But you know what? I do have a lot of questions. So I think I want to know, does Spirit have any message?
Question: Have you do you have a current issue that is now behind you with respect to a relationship that ended?
Yes.
Okay.
That is true.
All righty. So please understand that this, in answer to your question, that you have a happy situation coming up, a celebration coming. It's your heart's desire forthcoming. Are you looking to align in love with someone?
I don't have anyone in,
right.
Anyone that's sitting right here with me. But I'm so open.
Yes.
Open to the love of my life.
It's coming. It's coming. It's so interesting because I always tell Jonathan and Barbara that I do work before every show, and here at Life, Laughter, and Happiness, and so I asked Spirit to show me what was going on, and this reading is for you. I just sat there in my room, and they showed me, and so this reading is for you, and I get to share it with you. And I did take some notes.
Thank you.
Yes, well, I'm glad you called in. This last situation, you have changed lanes away from that kind of relationship, which has created this openness for what is going on now for you. This happiness and celebration is coming forward. So it's your heart's desire is coming forward. They're also showing me money around you. So you're going to have your heart's desire. I heard just now meeting a financial need. So it's looking like it's paying off something, or at least paying off something. So your heart's desire is forthcoming. That's what's going on. So you can really call that in right now. Right now. This singularness that you had before, it's over. There's a decision. You've got a lot of decision making coming up. So you're going to have choices in when it comes to aligning with this love of your life. Love of your life is not to be taken lightly. Love of your life, it's a true accord with another person. We all have that lovely opportunity that we create before we incarnate to have the love of our life and walk with that love of our life. That's forthcoming. It's not far off. So you have choices. I actually see two choices coming up. I see two guys coming up, and you will need to make the right decision. I rather sense that you will be indecisive when these two individuals come forward. So I implore you to make that right decision. And Jonathan and Barbara have a Roku channel, and we talked last week about muscle testing to get to the right answers, yes or no. And I rather sense that you would do well by embarking on, it's a very quick exercise, and your higher self will be able to understand it right away. I'm going to let Barbara and Jonathan talk about their channel in a second. Of course, it's their show. But if you get a little lost in what I'm saying, on my website, which is fullsoulreadings.com, there is a section, articles, up at the upper right-hand corner of the site. Just go there, and the article, I think, is called Get to the Truth. I think that's what it is called. And it has the steps right there. But you're going to have to make a decision, and it's going to be a tough decision, I'm shown. I'm shown which person that you should choose, but we're not there yet. It's coming. I just felt a lot come off your heart chakra. It's been somewhat of a burden that you don't want to go through life without a friend. Is that what I'm picking up right now?
Of course you are, Vanessa. Thank God for you today. Thank you, Lord, for Vanessa, Barbara, and Jonathan. Thank you.
Oh,
my
so
God.
glad.
You are picking that up.
I'm so glad. Well, it's forthcoming, and when that decision comes, you're going to have two choices. It's a path. They're showing me a fork in the road, and I want you to choose well. And so when that comes up, it's invoking that exercise on muscle testing will help you. Or, call back to the show and we'll help you. But you have shifted away from one situation that wasn't rewarding, and you are well on your way to happiness and joy and celebration and heart's desire. And I'm so glad that you called in so I could tell you that.
Thank you. Oh, my God, thank you so much. Thank
How
you.
wonderful.
God bless
I'm so happy.
you. I love you, all three of you.
I love you too.
And I would love to hear from Jonathan and Barbara. Please tell me more, please.
Now,
but
do you have Roku, ma'am?
I do. I just so happen to have it. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our channel is called Life, Laughter, Happiness, Learn, and it's in the educational category. And we're still waiting on it, but we recently uploaded. I uploaded in the process of uploading a muscle testing channel with Vanessa. I would appreciate it greatly if you subscribe and leave a rating. Do you know how to leave ratings on Roku for TV channels?
I don't. I just now started with Roku. I'm Spectrum. I'm with Spectrum, but I've just started now. Just the transition over from the box to Roku. So.
Okay. But
I'm not really writing anything down. I'm gonna re-listen to because I always save save the show after I talk or get out. So I'm gonna go through everything. So if there's any kind of way you could give me I don't know if you can give a quick tutorial because I know we have other people waiting. But if you could just guide me a little bit, I'm sure I could do what I need to do.
The channel is going to have it uploaded, and it's a long class explaining it. It's you know how like sometimes you'll be hearing Vanessa give readings and she'll be like, "Oh, I get a yes on that, I get a no on that." This is going to explain a little bit about the background of that, sort of what goes on in her mind when she gives a reading a little bit, and we are in the process of uploading it right now. And the channel is anything educational. We're looking for educational things. We're looking for things of an educational nature. We actually believe that everything is educational. That's the point. Because, we had a guy, we've had people contact me for comedy. I want economy in there. I want to put, financial stuff in there, financial advice for people, because I believe that all those things are irrelevant, So that's the channel. This is not about right, Barbara.
It's a show with everything because you can learn from everything. So you have to just go and check out our show. And I guess it's going to be uploaded soon, right, Johnny? Our last episode on muscle testing?
Yes. I'm going through the processes right now of talking to Roku and getting in touch with them and making sure it's uploaded. Because it's supposed to be uploaded, but I can only attribute it to a slow holiday weekend.
Just check back shortly on our Roku channel, probably by tomorrow, and then you'll learn how to do it yourself, and it is valuable. It's a wonderful tool to have.
Okay,
right.
I sure will. I will. Thank you so much, all three of you. Thank you again. I love you.
You're welcome.
God bless, and please stay safe. And I would like to remain on the line if I could to finish listening to the show. Thank you.
Oh, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. All right.
That's so nice. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
great. I love the outcome of her reading. To know that you have another chance. You have more.
Oh, I love doing readings before the show. Oh, I just love doing readings before the show, and we always are able to connect with your callers, just like the last caller. So it's awesome to do this.
Well, our next one is area code 952.
It really is awesome. Okay, hi caller. You are on with psychic medium Vanessa Orr. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Hi, my name is Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Hi.
What's going on?
I just had a question. I've been going through a lot. My dad passed a year ago, and I just wanted to see. I'm trying to formulate in a question how the next few months will go for me, because we have to get rid of his home next week. It's a little bit, it's been a little bit up and down. We have 7 children and all these different emotions, and so.
Oh, I can really tell that this is hard. He's still in the house. So has he transitioned? I get a yes, but he sure likes to come back and visit. He takes information on that. Hold on a second. Barbara, are you picking up the confirmation at all?
I am. I was just walking and it was loud. I was distracted. Now I'm going in somewhere quiet, so I didn't pick it up.
Okay, that's all right. Your dad, there's a kitchen. He loves to walk back and forth through the kitchen. And there's a set of stairs. Can you tell me, is there a basement? He keeps pointing at the basement.
Yeah, he couldn't go down the basement for many years. He became disabled, yeah.
Okay, there's some things down there that he says are of interest to you. Does that make sense? Like there's something of value. Does that make sense?
I'll have to look again. We're trying to gather everything right now. Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you really quickly what he's showing me. I really like your dad. He is so quick to show me. He shows me a money box. The money box looks to be like a gray steel container. It's kind of an older one, and go down there and look for it. He's talking about that, and then there's also a white box. It looks more like a banker box. You know those banker boxes that you and I go pick up at Office Depot, and we put them together, and they have a lid. It looks something like that too. But there's a money box down there, and it doesn't seem to be locked. But your dad is back and forth in the kitchen, and they told me that he takes more advantage of coming back to Earth more than like most souls. So he's like, he says no one's going to. He doesn't like to be bossed around. I don't know. Am I on the right path here? But does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's like, no one's going to tell me that I can't come here because I heard that there's a pathway, which is interesting because I'm learning something tonight. So he loves walking back and forth in the kitchen. He just seemed to really have a lot of affinity for the kitchen. And he's showing me what he did in the kitchen. But he's pointing to the stairs. He was very adamant that I share that with you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the confirmation I'm getting. I'm getting really excellent confirmation here. We call this prana confirmation. And I'm getting some kundalini confirmation, which is the ultimate confirmation. So he says to me that you're the girl for this. Were you and he the closest? And he always said, did he always tell you how smart you are?
The last 7 years, I was over a lot taking care of him. So it's hard to say if we were the closest, but we became very close the last 7 years.
Well, I wonder if he was holding his cards close to his vest. He's a lot to handle, your dad, right? I think you've got more patience than I would have. I probably would have, thrown the gauntlet down. But it looks like you had a lot of patience and fortitude, and you're also, your higher self is saying, well, it was my duty. But he's saying to me how you were so smart. So if he didn't tell you that before, he is sharing that with you now. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't tell the ego. Ego's like such a hindrance, so we don't deal with it. But he's sharing this now. And listen, oftentimes these are things that should have been said here on Earth. But, hey, we were talking earlier about how quick life goes, how quickly life, skirts along. And then suddenly we're not present here on Earth. We're present elsewhere. And so he's saying that. I'm going to say this because sometimes they show me things that really I can't find a connector here. Does the name Martha mean anything to you?
Martha?
Martha?
Oh, Martha?
Yeah.
Maybe it's somebody, relative. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, that came up. Sometimes it's meaningful to the caller, but yeah, this does look like a relative. Sometimes what this means is that there's a Martha that's standing behind him, actually. So if you feel his presence at the home, understand that he's there. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to tell you, because you're getting ready to sell the house, right?
Right.
And yeah, so if you feel compelled to tell him to leave the house so you can sell it, then do that. I clear properties so that they sell. You know, and it's interesting. I'm just a conduit. I'm just a channel. But people will come to me and they're like, "Hey, Ness, I've had this property on the market for a year and a half, or longer, and I'm shown things that you can't see, probably because, it would be the same thing for me. You're too close to the fire. Once we clear a property, the right people can access the property and they buy it. Boom. So when you're finished and you're prepared to put the house on the market and actually get that sale going, say, Dad, now you have to step aside and let us sell it, because he's really attached to the house. He really is attached to this house.
Yeah.
Maybe you
that's 60
have to
years.
ask him, please, don't come over, Dad. Please don't come over while we're showing the house.
Yeah,
right.
There's people have accidents on properties and die, or people pass away from other events on properties, and you have to release them. I've released people from properties that they were occupying, and it was, for example, a suicide. And people just don't realize that attachment, because the house has to go into an estate and it has to be sold. I mean, we still move on with business here on planet Earth, and they have stepped into the celestial realm, or the astral realm, or the underworld, or elsewhere. And we have to tell them, hey, you can go on now, and I'm going to help you do that, because your dad, he says, I just come back and forth all the time. So, by the way, you can ask him to leave signs for you at his house. Say, leave me a dime or leave me a feather, and he'll do it.
Okay. I appreciate it. It's been really hard, so I do appreciate it.
It's hard for you. So here's the last thing I'll leave you with. You need to talk to him and tell him. And if there's something I can do, will you please ask me right now? Is it the grief? Is that what you're having?
The grief, but it's hard. The grief of the house now, because it is sold, and we have to get out next week. And
okay,
I tried my hardest to keep it in the family. And I couldn't.
There's like one. You have a brother that really needs the money, I heard. That's why it was shown earlier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, but I didn't want to bring it up. But there it is. What can I do? I'm doing things after the show. What can I do to help you? Just state what you think the issue is. Is it you?
The grief of
the house?
Yeah. I'm attached because I have always had this belief that I could help save this for our family, and I just can't do it. It's hard to put in words, but my sisters are all having a hard time with this, and I thought I could do it, but I can't. So
it is hard. I can feel it. It wraps around your ankles, this grief. It wraps around your sister's ankles. I have a real quick question. Has anyone had an accident where they tripped recently?
Oh, I did a year ago when I broke my ankle, but
Okay. Grief is bad stuff. I mean, it will kill a person. It will. And grief is a signal. It's like, hey, there's something wrong here. Well, yeah, we get that. The dodgiest thing. In all my practice, I think this is probably why I kept trying to walk away from being a psychic and a physical medium, and I'm not kidding you. It's almost like I could feel something hook me on my shirt, the collar of my shirt, and drag me back and say, "You're doing this." And one of the precursory measures to starting my company, Full Soul Readings, was grief, because grief can be so overindulgent in the heart and the soul, it will make you ill. And I don't want that for you. Look what happened. You broke your ankle, and you have one sister that's really wallowing in the grief. I mean, she's really rather inconsolable. She doesn't tell you. She hides. I mean, she's just showing me. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a cord clearing ceremony here for you and your sisters. It will help you. Yeah, I think we need this, because if not, you're going to get more ill, and one or all of you are going to have accidents. That's how dodgy grief is. You know, people who lose a child, right? I mean, that's huge grief. You've lost your dad, and you all had a beautiful time at this house. So I'm going to clear it tonight, and I'm sure that Spirit will show me to do more work. And you know what?
I appreciate it.
Feel free. Oh my gosh, it's my honor to do that. Please call back on another Monday night, or drop a line with Life, Laughter, and Happiness and Barbara and Jonathan, and just say something that just let us know. But I'll be checking energetically. I'll be checking in, and I'm going to talk to your dad too. That's one reason why you girls are having a tough time, is that he's there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's our last connection to our family, so like anybody else. So that's the biggest problem. We don't have a mom, we don't have a dad, but we have a house, and now the house is gone. So go. So
the house represented a lot of good things.
Yeah,
I will do my work here, and I'm shown that you and your sisters are going to have a bit of a fire burning ceremony. I wonder what that's going to be, but they show me that you're in the backyard and having a fire burning ceremony. And sometimes it's good to burn something, I burned my wedding dress from my first marriage. It was cathartic.
Oh.
I'm not saying everybody should burn their wedding dresses, but I'm telling you, it went up like tinder, so I think there was something, significant there in doing that. It helped me.
Probably felt so good.
Yeah, it did feel good. It was odd. You should have seen the veil. It just went up like tinder. So there's something that you and your sisters are going to have a small ceremony, and it looks like a little bit of adult beverage, a little bit of a toast, and that will be one way to toast your parents and toast the beautiful times at this home. But as your friend and as a psychic and physical medium, I will do this work for you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my honor. And we're going to get better. So I look forward to hearing from you, Julie.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
my
that
honor.
is so good that she called. Thank you, Julie, because
what a dear.
That's so sad. It's just
I know.
The house that you're so attached to, where your dad's presence is in all the time. That is like a double whammy to have to get rid of that house. You feel like you're getting rid of the spirit, but can his spirit, obviously his spirit can go wherever her and her family is next, where they live next, right?
He's an interesting guy. Yeah, he's like, hey, I can go back to Earth. I learned something, Barbara. He's like, I'm going. That's how it is on the other side of the veil. It's like sliding doors.
That's what.
And they wait and take opportunity to connect.
I don't have to whoop nobody here.
Wow, that's so cool. I think it's great. He seems like he's in good spirits. No pun intended, really, but he seems fine. Let's hope that he stays that way. With all this work, clever. Hopefully he will. He's very busy working on it. Yeah,
he's very business oriented. He's conducting business. So I'm glad Julie called in.
Well, then he'll understand that she's going to have to do this to take care of the family. He'll understand. I hope that really consoled her.
I do too. I'll do the work.
All right.
Thank you.
Here's our next caller. this one's unidentified, but I'll put it through.
Okay. Hello, caller.
Hi,
How are you today?
Hello,
You're
Vanessa.
on
My name
live.
is Jane.
Hi, you're on with
Hi.
Vanessa Orr, MBA. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. My first time calling into your show. So my name is Jane. Yeah.
So nice to meet you.
I'm
Thank
excited.
You for calling in.
Yeah, I've been
Awesome.
listening to everything you've said, and everything could apply to me. So I was laughing to myself.
Oh, she's talking about me.
Yes, totally, the whole time.
Well, what's going on? You sound so cheery. I like your vibration.
Well, lots is going on in my life. All kinds of change on just about every area of my life, and lots of change. And last year was tough, so this year feels easier. Still not easy, but it's easier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm just calling in to see if you have a message for me from Spirit or what you pick up.
Oh, wow. This is what we call a very cold reading. Can I ask you what?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Last year, am I picking up the end of a relationship with a male?
Well, sort of. It never really happened.
Was he attached to another? Was he attached to another female?
Could have been. I'm really not sure. We weren't in a relationship. He was just, we were dated a few times, but nothing happened.
There was a strong affinity there. There was, on his part anyway. You are very analytical. You're just like, well, let's just see if it's not like you're trying to make anyone pass tests, but you're just seeing if they're going to go the extra mile. And, I'm going to say this. I rather like that in a person that shows a level of maturity in relationships. But I am picking up a strong signal here, and he's very regretful of letting you go. He doesn't reach out. I get a yes that he does not reach out. But you made an impression on him. Now, I'm going to say this is what he's saying to me. Just, this is the general reading, and I don't think it's really going to make a dent in really, maybe you might have a more specific question as we go. But he said you made him a better person. At least you made him want to be a better person.
Yeah, I could take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard some really bad things about him, right? And everybody has done stupid things. But I'd heard some things that weren't very nice, so that made me very cautious with him.
Well, you were very wise. But see, you're very analytical. And I'm going to tell you this. Barbara and Jonathan know that people who aren't honest, they aren't going to come to me. Okay? They're not going to be coming around me. People who want resolution or or want to know, I want to know truth, they're going to come to me. You are a lot like me. And if I met you, I would be picking that up in you. And you know what it does? It comes across as ego, and it's not. You're not. If I ask if I'm talking to a lot of ego here with you, I get a no. You are you someone who are you someone that your friends go to for guidance and advice?
Oh yes.
All
the time. Even strangers.
Oh yes, they want to tell you. And you know what? You are a very good listener because you're very smart. And you know what? You're always like, I don't mind learning. Maybe I want to learn this subject. Maybe I want to learn that subject. So when it comes, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm really impressed with how you did a comparison and contrast between 2019 and 2020, because I'm going to tell you that for you and me and everyone listening, that spring 2021 is just fantastic. So everything gets better, and it's just kind of a general thing that I always talk about. Here you and I were like dragging our 20, but the chaos is separating. They show me. I'm going to ask you this: are you a teacher or an educator or something? Do you instruct classes?
I work with businesses, I'm not a teacher, but I do help people.
You train businesses.
Yeah. I help them learn how to work a different way.
Oh, I like that. You realize that you're coming back to do more of this. If you're not doing it already, that you are coming back to do more of this. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, I guess so.
Oh, you guess so? Okay, so if I ask the question, does this caller want to do that work, I'm getting a no. Is that correct? That you don't want to do this?
I don't know. At this moment in time, I don't feel like that. I feel like it's been a lot of work, a real lot of work.
They just used the word bored with me. Are you bored with it?
Yeah, that would be right. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm bored with the way I've been doing it. Yeah.
Well, you're very bright. Okay? You're very bright. Can I tell you a short story about me? Next week I'm embarking in a new topic. It's astrology. So I'll be studying astrology for a year. And it's because
cool.
You and I, you and I, we say, I'm bored. I'm not utilizing my time correctly. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I think you are a lot like me. That you've got the analytical side, and then you've also got the intuitive side because you know that there's something more out there. But it's because you have been here so many lifetimes. You've been here a lot. It's like, oh, my gosh, here we go again. I've already done this. But I'm going to tell you what's coming up. And I'm also learning a lot here in your reading. They show me the color brown. I can't put a finger on what that means, except I would connect that with soil. We plant things in soil. You know, I raise roses here. Yeah. My husband raises tomatoes. We use a lot of soil, and that's what they're showing me. And so you're going to be planting new ideas. You're going to be creating a shift in this learning career of yours that you are currently bored in, but it's going to have a new twist on it because we need you. Yeah. There are companies who need you, and that's coming.
I've been working on the twist. I haven't got it really figured out, but that's where I'm looking at.
Well, they just said to me, she's so smart. So I'm going to tell you about something. This idea or this twist is going to come out of left field. In other words, you're not going to anticipate it, but it will be one of those aha moments. And I'm going to say this to you. When you finish speaking with me, write down something to this effect. I have the aha moment now. I understand 100% the twist that will garner me the better position in this education situation. I just said that completely wrong. I know that you'll have a better way of saying it. Write it down.
Yeah, but I get what you mean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good, because I didn't. I was like, oh, please help me. What am I trying to say here? And so because you have left brain and you are intuitive, that's like such a great platform for giving the good advice that you do. And being psychically inclined, because we're all psychically inclined. Here's the other thing that they're telling me to tell you, is that when you finish this phone call with me, is that you've been keeping your psychic capacities at bay. It's time to let it come forward. Like, it's charging at you. This psychic capacity, you need to go full 100% to invite it in now. Now, that's exciting. It's time. You've been keeping it at bay. You don't have to tell anyone I'm psychic, because everyone is. But, you know,
they already.
I'm going to tell you.
Think I am anyhow.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
And yes, everyone is. But you know what you're showing me? You know, you're showing me this wooden door. It's a beautiful wooden door, and it's got an arch in it, and it's just as big wrought iron hardware on it. And it's got a speakeasy on it, and you know what? And it's got stone walls around it. That you've kept it out, and you keep showing me how you've kept it closed. You're like pushing your body on it, and you're like, "Hey, look, Ness, I don't want to open this door." Standing there going, "But why?" So open it, because you're supposed to walk through. Let all that 100% divine light come through, as you know, owning that psychic capacity, because it's going to serve you better. people are going to be knocking their door down to talk to you. Like, they're not already, but you do keep people at bay. Does that make sense?
Somebody just told me that. A guy that I've been seeing tells me I keep people at bay. They didn't quite say it like that, but he said that.
Okay, because you do. You're showing me. You're kind of proud of it, too. And I'm going to say this. I understand, okay? But you're like, hey, look at this nest. I can keep everybody out. And I'm sitting here going, but you're missing out on everything on the other side. So you're a smart cookie. I think we all could take a lesson from you, because everyone is psychic, but the door is trying to, like, burst open on you, and you're keeping it closed. And that's very interesting to me that they're showing me this. It's a gorgeous door. It's a stone wall. You have heard of stone wall, when people stonewall us. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that cruelly to you. They're just showing me the imagery because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Yeah, you're not like that. You're just like, I'm just not going to participate in that. No, I understand. But you're very gifted.
I have a lot of
Last
gifts,
question.
And it's challenging.
Oh, yeah. It is, yeah. Oh, yeah. I tried to walk away from being a psychic and a physical medium. It's followed me my whole life, and it's like a light switch, yeah? And so, I've got a light switch, and I finally was compelled to have to flip it up. And you'll open your door.
That's exciting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It is exciting. I mean, that's like what a reading, because this is a light worker. Because you always like the path for people to understand. That's you.
Yeah, and I probably already do some of this already, but I don't think of it that way. I'm tuning to somebody's energy, and I help them with their next steps and that kind of thing.
There it is. Yeah, that's a gift, and it's benevolent. And it also helps you sift people who aren't going to be welcome in your auric fields. And you kindly say, thank you, no. And it allows you to allow the right people. A lot of people aren't, they don't know who to let into their fields. I worked all weekend. Yes, you're talking to someone who worked all weekend. And I had a client that was in a 911 about a guy. And he was about to make the same bad decision because I don't know. I think she just likes to talk to me because it's like, do you hear what I've been telling you for 4 years? Please don't make the same mistake. But see, because she's not open entirely to listening, and you are. So that's the difference. Those are the kind of people that let anything in their energy fields, and then they come back to me and say, I don't know what happened. I'm so sad. And I'm like, what? We talked about that. But see, that's not you. You
no, I've been there in the past. I've been there in the past.
Well, sure, we all have. I mean, you're talking to an expert that's been, but you don't have a revolving door of it. Yeah, no. You don't have a revolving door of it. Yeah.
No. So no, that person that you mentioned last year. That's interesting that what you said about him. So I still see him occasionally, and I've just. It was difficult because it's still the emotion is there, but I haven't gone there.
It could have been a good match because it's like the yin and the yang. It's you would be able to support, prop him up and help, like he said earlier to me. She just made me a better person, and those are the kind of people we want to be with. It's like we want to be with those people that make us better people. I mean, that's like what the world's supposed to be about. I remember I said to my dad decades ago, I said, the generation ahead is supposed to help the generation behind have a better life. He looked at me like I had 3 heads. But that's what it is. It's like if it's a generation behind us or it's a friend or a client, that's when you have the asset base to help without being racketeered or stolen from. That's what you do. But this guy, he got intimidated. and then there's also this other woman that's like milling around his auric fields. So he's got a court attachment with this other woman.
He wasn't very clear with me, and he was, it felt like the on-off thing, the on-off stuff,
you're right.
and I just wasn't going to play. I wasn't going to play that again.
Good for you.
So I met another guy. I've met another fellow, and I'm not sure about him either. So he's the opposite. I don't have the feelings. He's a really nice man. Challenging.
He's also guarding his heart too. So you could dial it in like this. Open that door that you're showing me, and he will see a different side of you. You're going to have fun doing that, by the way. So they're showing me a Friday night, and they're showing me a party. I don't know what parties look like. I mean, I'm in Texas, so it's like a nothing burger here for that. But wherever you are, it's a socialization. And, of course, we have these things called Zoom and Blue Jeans and FaceTime. And I also see that there's companies called S'mores, where you don't meet the person, the face. You don't see any photographs of the person until you meet each other through quizzes, like quizzing each other and having a conversation that way without seeing the person yet. And then as the relationship progresses, more and more of the picture becomes visible to you. Anyway, all that to say is that that's kind of the same way of having this relationship with this guy. But if you dare,
a lot of it's been Zoom and stuff because he lives an hour and a half away. So we did have a couple of dates the last couple of weeks, but it's different. It's very different.
Well, I will tell you this before I let you go. He did tell a friend that he's very interested in you. So.
Yes, he's been blunt with me that he is. He's very interested in knowing me better, and he's looking for a long-term relationship and all that. The complete opposite of the other guy.
Yeah, well, the other guy, he's got a bungee cord on, attached to his back. I don't think he knows, but he does. But that's why. But open the door. There must be a song. I think there's a song to that. Paul McCartney, Open the Door. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something, but open the door, because you're showing me how you're just like, look at this mess, and you're just like leaning up against it like nobody can get through here. I'm all, wow, she's really keeping people out.
Wow. Well, it's funny because I have many friends that are in my life.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I hope that this was helpful, and thank you for challenging me on a very, very cold reading, because I love doing cold readings. I do. Yeah.
Very well.
Oh, and one last thing before I let you go, call your guides in. Say, I call in my 100% Divine Light guides to show me everything right now, and they'll do it, because you're in control. You're the empowered one.
Oh, I called my angels. I said, angels, show me the way with these guys. I said, I'm giving it to you. I'm like, oh
yeah, that's the way to go. That is the way to go.
I was so confused, and then it didn't bother me. So
that's really interesting. It does take a lot of pressure off of us. You can almost feel the pressure come off your throat and your chest and your back. You can just feel it melt away. It's true, isn't it? Before these shows,
that's the only way I could deal with it.
Yes, that's the smart way. And there's so much opportunity for all of us to connect with in the astral realm, in the celestial realm. So much opportunity. There's everybody just waiting to help us on the other side. So,
wow,
good for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Vanessa. Now I'll think about how to open the door.
Well, you're leaning on it for one thing, so I'm impressed. I'm like, wow, she's really got that door closed. And so here's what I tell people, and it's funny because I have loads of it here, and then I'll let you go, but I have tons of keys around here. And they're decorative keys. They're just keys the size of a key, but I keep them here, and I run across them once in a while, and of what I need to open. I'm really strange because I have lots of things around here, tons of crystals and tons of things like that. And I'm going to tell you about the keys. So get the key out and put it underneath your pillow tonight and say, show me, or just a key like off your keychain, and say, show me the door, how to open it. You will be amazed what will come to you. Here's another thing I'm going to leave you with, and I'll tell you and all the callers. A Herkimer diamond, they're mined only out of New York State. Herkimer diamond. They are one of the best psychic crystals. And since you and everyone else listening has an inclination for psychic capacities, a Herkimer diamond really helps with psychic skills.
Oh, okay. There's a guy that
he has a crystal shop.
There's a fellow I know that has a crystal shop here, so I'll ask him.
Ask him. I love my Herkimer diamonds. I love those guys. So I have one here with me right now. So look into that.
I will.
I'm going to have to look into that too. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
They are fun.
I know.
I just love those guys. I just love them. Herkimer diamond.
Herkimer diamond. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out.
They're mined out of Herkimer, New York. So, and they sometimes they're typically clear. Sometimes they're gold. Sometimes they're clear. Sometimes they have radiations in them. But they are powerful. They are wonderful.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Well, thank you so much for calling, and we hope that you call back and tell us if you have opened up, if you have come away from that door and let it open, and what happened.
Yeah. Right.
It's really actually pretty exciting.
Well, Vanessa will know.
Yes, she will.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to assign an angel to let me know. Okay. Thank you for calling.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Well, I think we should
our
take this time
caller.
to, before the next caller, I think we should take the time to tell everybody, all the listeners, how to get a hold of Vanessa if they want to have a longer reading. You go to Instagram. Her Instagram is Bomba11, BOMBA 11, or check her out on her website, and you can book that way as well, fullsoulreadings.com. And Vanessa, I'm saying, I almost forgot, and because, a whole 7 days goes by until our next Mondays with you, and I should write all this down. But I really used my muscle testing on something, and it was amazing.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah. I was contemplating, I saw a couple of apartments were open in my building, which I love my building. I love the grounds. They're beautiful rolling hills with gardens and old trees and just immaculately kept. And so I was curious. I thought, well, these two others, they look like huge patios. You can tell how big the patios. They have long, high walls. So I couldn't make up my mind, but I thought I'm going to put this muscle testing to test, and I walked around and just took deep breaths, walked around, and I walked by one, and I said, nope, tons of anxiety is right here. So much anxiety. Mm-hmm. And then I just looked around, and I thought, now I feel suffocated. And then I thought, well, now I know why, because I went closer to that neighbor, then the other neighbor, then the other neighbor. I felt something different with each place, and I thought, if I move into there, I'm going to be feeling that all the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so
and then
proud
the
of
other,
you.
Thank you. And then the other apartment, I did the same thing, and I felt like, not those two emotions, but I felt like just dark, like a very doomsday dark feeling. And then I went to my place, which there is an entity in, but I felt tranquility and joy and goodness. I just have to get that one entity gone, and it'll be back to normal and great. So isn't that awesome?
Yes, it is awesome. And the reason that entity, he can't cross that grid.
Oh.
Maybe that's an interior wall, but it's the grid and your capacity to pick up on it, all that is all energy that you're picking up on. So, Barbara, I am so proud of you. I'm not at all surprised because you picked it up so quickly. I think we worked on it, a couple months ago. We did a little bit of it on a phone call, and then it went into the Roku channel that you and Jonathan have on Roku, and the video we did last week. But that's the ticket. That's how you make decisions.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to say now, because they were calling. Well, what have you made up your mind before we show it to other people? You're our first on the list, and I said I have, and it is no on both of the places.
You really
because
surprised
I didn't know.
them too, by the way.
Didn't know what my answer was until I did that last night, and then the answer was definitely a no.
It's definitely
the way
to
the
go.
Apartment people or the manager, you mean?
Yeah.
I surprised.
Yeah, you surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were really looking forward to you coming. By the way, for you to be a tenant there, but the things that you and Priscilla have done in your home there it's kind of like washed out a lot of former energy, and we have talked about it on this show, Life, Laughter, and Happiness, about what went on around that area. But I am going to do my work and speak to this entity, because once you clear out an entity, things just work better. Appliances are able to work better. Mercury retrograde's wreaking havoc. I know that we talked before the show about what Jonathan's been experiencing doing uploads. It's Mercury retrograde is just wreaking havoc. So,
it really is. I mean, we had to throw away our toaster too.
Oh, wow.
I know.
My goodness sake.
And the computer. I've had computer problems. I mean, just so many problems. And I have a brand new huge iMac. It shouldn't be giving me any trouble. It is crazy.
No. It will work out soon. July 12th, that's when Mercury retrograde begins to go direct again. It's the beginning. So it's not fully direct. I always tell people to wait 2 or 3 days, especially if you're going to make an investment of any kind. So look how that was not meant to be during Mercury retrograde, accessing a contract for that apartment. Mm-hmm. You did the right thing. Yeah. If anyone's listening and they're like in a situation, like for example, Julie that called earlier, her childhood home is selling next week. Well, her dad's there. I always tell people, if you can wait to buy a property or a car or anything, anything electronic, anything big, avoid signing contracts, avoid surgery, avoid getting married, avoid getting engaged during this time, because it will go by quickly. It really controls problems down the road. And look what you did. You invoked the muscle testing. You got to know. Look, during Mercury retrograde, because you picked up. Not only were you picking up on the muscle testing, Barbara, you were picking up on the energies. So that's the sign of someone that is using and invoking their gifts and talents of psychic gifts and mediumship. So,
and knowing what they're doing, because I feel like this is something that, like the other caller said, well, I know I'm doing it, but I don't put it that way, Well, yes, I used to get feelings. I used to get energy feelings, and, I don't feel good around that structure or that person. But I didn't know really what I was doing, and now I do.
Now it's a sense of foreboding, I think, is how my dad would put it. It's a uptick in your energies that says, pay attention to this, and that's what you did. You really shown it wouldn't have that those apartments wouldn't have. I'm just going to say what they're telling me. It wouldn't have worked well or segued well with Priscilla's school. I can't explain why. I'm sure you're. I don't know.
It was very distracting there in that energy, that area. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was not going to be good. Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Area
well,
code
I don't know.
418.
Vanessa probably is.
Hello.
I'm good.
Hi.
Hi. You are
Hey
on
there.
with psychic medium Vanessa Orr. Welcome to Life, Laughter, Happiness.
Thank you so much. This is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica.
I had a question about my love life. I interacted with this police officer a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't think anything of him. I actually thought maybe he was a little bit of a jerk. And then I saw him, like, I guess it was a week or two after that, and because he's been covering these protests in my town. And we didn't talk the second time, but I caught him, like, looking at me, and then he waved at me, and just some sort of energy came over me, and he's been around me lately. So I kind of had, like, a lot of resistance about, like, anything with having to do with cops, like dating a cop. I'm even getting choked up talking about it. But, yeah, so, like, the last couple of days I've been thinking about him, and I'm curious, like, I want to see him again, and I'm just kind of wondering what's going on.
It's a no. Jessica, it's a no.
I'm not going to see him, or nothing's going to happen?
Don't participate.
Okay, what's the reason behind that?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that, darn it. So I got to know. Does he find you attractive? I get a yes. Okay. But bottom line, I get a no on would it be rewarding for you? I get a no. Would it be rewarding for him? I get a no. It's interesting because it's like two ships passing in the night, right? It's definitely an energy exchange that I am picking up. But Jessica, I get a no on participating with him.
Okay, because it was even questionable whether I was going to see him again or not, because he doesn't work in my town. He was just here for these, like, special protests.
Okay. Yeah. I all I can tell you, Jessica, and they're really not revealing anything more. And I think if you've heard some of the readings I've done, it's not me, Jessica. I'm just a channel. I'm just a conduit. But there's always a lot more here. You know, I'm always, like, given so much information. I don't think I'm getting enough information to give you because I think he's blocking me.
Oh.
I get a yes on that. Yeah, I got a yes on
back
that.
too. When
You did too.
To be with this guy, and my body went totally backwards, which means a no.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting because I was originally what was coming up was like, you can't trust cops. How could you ever trust someone like that? And because I think he's actually a detective, and so I was, like, kind of clearing through stuff, and then I sort of warmed up to the possibility because, like, he's been sleeping with me in my bed, like, energetically, and, like, wanting to cuddle.
Oh.
It's like I can't really figure out, like, what is, like, it was just feeling like he was actually, like, a really nice guy. So I was sort of confused about it, and then I was watching something today, and again, it was like I was watching about your constitutional rights, and it was like, you don't tell cops anything.
Okay. Well, all I'm going to say is that, Jessica, this is a challenging reading for me tonight, this one. And all I can give you is a no. And he is blocking me. I'm not able to see anymore. They're not letting me see much more. And I'm usually able to see much more in a reading, Jessica. I'm just so sorry I can't tell you anything more, but I just was shown the word save, S-A-V-E. So I'm going to say that that's applicable here, that we save you time and concern, and you got to know.
So what is the reason behind, like, the energy exchange between us, or him energetically hanging out around me? And I mean, I haven't liked someone in years.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. I have seen this happen before. Okay, it's a strong. It's almost like a tractor beam You can't figure out where it came from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, something karmic, obviously, or we know our souls know each other, something like that, obviously.
You are exactly right. And let me tell you how this ends. It doesn't end in favor if you pursue it. So that's why we got to know. Plus, he's blocking me. This is a past lifetime. And this didn't end well in the other past lifetime between you, this soul that you saw in you. And listen, it's in this lifetime, you must have said, before you incarnated, Jessica, you must have said, I'll see you, I'll acknowledge you energetically, for you not access me beyond that, but I can't control, but I'm not going to participate with you. And look, you called into Life, Laughter, and Happiness tonight. I know a client that this happened. Yeah, I know a client that this happened to back in 2000. And she said, I cannot figure it out. I've never even given this guy the time of day. I know him through a boyfriend, and I've seen him before, but he stares at me all the time. And she said, now I'm getting drawn into him. What is going on? And I said, well, it's a past lifetime. And that's what it was. And I wasn't really sure what I was talking about, but I had not really studied past lifetimes at the time, but I was shown past lifetimes. And that's what this is. It's this, but that other lifetime, I'm going to tell you what they did to me when I told you, Jessica, that this was a past lifetime. It was bodily harm to you by the other soul. Now, I could do a deeper reading, but for intents and purposes of timing right now, please understand that it did not go well in the other lifetime. Let me tell you what happens. Souls can follow us to the next lifetime. We might not want them to come here, but they've got something they want to work out or create a different strategy with us. And tonight you called into Life, Laughter, and Happiness, and all I could come up with when I tested was, no, Jessica. And I said to myself, I know she's going to want to know more. And I can't find anything with him. I can't find a reason except this past lifetime.
Well, yeah, I mean that I've had another situation like that too. It seems like this lifetime I kind of crossed paths with people I've had, males that I've had past lifetimes with that didn't go well, and then there they are again, and I have to say no to them. So I guess it's just like it's probably a test of like just keep it moving to what exactly I want in a partner. But then of course that leads to like, well, okay, now I'm open. I'm really excited about having a relationship again. So when is this life partner going to come in? Because I was asking for it, praying for it over the last couple of months. I was opening up to it. Then this guy appears. So now I have to push that energy out, and so when's the
can I
like
tell
where's
you?
my
Let me
prize?
tell you. Yeah. Can I tell you something really quickly? When we are on the right path, that sometimes they call them tricksters. I know it's really weird, and I just thought that was a joke that these kind of souls were called tricksters, but they can insert themselves into your life and take you down the wrong path. And the one thing that I've been shown throughout this reading is that if you aligned with this particular soul, it would go down the wrong path. And I know that you understand the past lifetimes. This is a trickster. And they can show up. I have heard from people, down in Latin America, South America, from shaman, people who have trained with shaman and shaman, that sometimes a trickster can show up as a child is being born. I know this is going off into weird territory, and I'll be quick. But they can actually crowd the soul of, say, for example, a baby being born, as the baby's being born. And so you've got two souls in one body. That is a thing. So I know that's off in the weeds a little bit, so we're going to set this aside because I know you're really, really, really wanting an answer here. And you really got the answer, and the answer is no, because you have a trickster, someone that's trying to crowd your world and insert their soul into your world, and it's not a good thing. So if you're asking where your the love of your life, like what we started out with in the initial calls tonight. And for intents and purposes of tonight, I'm going to direct you to my site. It's fullsoulreadings.com, and there's a button for articles. And there's an article in there about writing down what you want, and that's what I want you to do. Is you can go look at that article and get an idea of just, I can just tell you right now, just bullet list what you want in this ideal mate.
That's actually exactly what I was doing. I was saying, you know what, use this energy to just remind yourself exactly everything you want in a partner. You are not compromising or giving into, because that was that flip-flop I kept doing with, like, the whole top thing and whatever, and not being comfortable with that. And I think I was probably sensing just something not being good there. And
sure. And did
so
you see what you were doing? You were trying to bargain with me. I don't know. Maybe you won't agree with that, but I know you were trying to bargain with me about this guy. And
I was doing that with myself for the last couple of days, because that's what I do. That's my pattern. that's the pattern that has to go.
Well, you're remarkably honest about it. So, you know what you might do? Thing that we talked about in the Roku, on the Roku channel that Life, Laughter, and Happiness Learn has with Barbara and Jonathan, is telling ego to get out. And I guarantee you, Jessica, when you tell your ego and your personality, which is your ID, when you tell your ego and your id to get out, bargaining will go with it. Because this whole reading, and I just think you're wonderful, and I just love this name, Jessica. You were trying to bargain with me to get in with this guy, but it's not entirely your fault because he's a trickster. He wants to continue business from that previous lifetime. So now
that's like scary. It's a thing too, because I'm really rocking and rolling with my mission, so I know it has to do with getting me off my path. Because that's exactly what the guy before this one had to do too. That happened a couple of years ago, and I let him sort of sway me a bit. And this new guy reminded me of the old guy, and it was like, oh my God, yet again. And it was the same deal, past lifetime, shady stuff.
Yeah, it is. You're very smart, because it is definitely a thing. And, when we trust abandon, it's a risk that we take. And you were willing to trust this individual with abandon, but fortunately you called in tonight and got some, I'm going to say, universal assistance. It was the universe that conspired on your behalf. If you've never heard that before, the universe conspires on our behalf. They cross paths. They cross, Jessica, your path crossed with mine tonight. My path has crossed with Barbara and Jonathan's continually. And here you are with the three of us and all the other callers and listeners to understand that the universe conspired on your behalf tonight to control access to this trickster. There are tricksters out there. And I think people probably might refer to them as spooks. It's the people that just don't add up. And we see them, sometimes I'll turn on I like to watch TCM with my husband, Rich. And I can identify people that I will call tricksters. It's remarkable, but you get a trained eye so you were, listen, it's a wink and a nod. And there's this energy that exchanges between you and the other party. In this case, you, Jessica, and this guy. And it overwhelmed you. I mean, I could pick up a lot of heavy energy with you about it. And then I think you mentioned earlier in this reading, Jessica, that, did you say energetically sharing the bed?
Yes. It was happening for days. That's why it was really, it is kind of sad to me now that I have to be like, no, forget it. And then I'm kind of back single again,
Yeah, that is a thing. That is definitely, it's so interesting that there's a case out there again like this, because I haven't seen anything like this since 2000. So thank you for bringing this to tonight's show at Life, Laughter, and Happiness, because I think I've learned more than anybody else tonight that this is still out there. Yeah, right.
Amazing.
But Jessica, It's a no. And you know what? Now that we've gotten through this reading, please understand that your strength is elevating because it's not being sapped away or sacked by trickster. You'll start forgetting about him. He'll always be around.
It's so disturbing. It made me feel very happy to have someone in my life, and it was like, even though it was just like energetic, and I was like, I don't know, is he going to keep this energetic, or is he going to try to find me in person again? Like
it's the emotion that is very elevating tone and level in your brain. You remember that first crush you had in like 7th grade? It's like that.
Yeah, it was. It is like that. That's when you first meet somebody. It's exciting.
What do they call that? They call it. Don't they call it infatuation?
Yeah, it's definitely that.
Yeah, that's how the trickster can give us because the trickster doesn't own love, the trickster doesn't own hope, and the trickster doesn't own faith or loyalty or fidelity. It doesn't offer anything. It's just infatuation. And you know what? Think about it. Like the infatuation. My gosh, it's like the most amazing overload. I mean, your senses are just like. Think about it. If you could look at your brain, it's probably like lit up like gold when you're infatuated, and that's what the trickster does. And so that's
what's weird to me that was making me kind of go back and forth was like I was saying to myself, well, you know, this is like your hang-ups about cops and. You know, if you do tap into his energy deeper, he does seem like a protective guy and like that would be nice and caring and things like that. So like that's what was.
I know a lot. My neighborhood is full of detectives. I mean, my neighborhood is full of amazing law enforcement here. I'm like, I don't even know how I, tripped into this, but I mean, these are some nice people and they are amazing. Trust that. But there are a lot of detectives here and a lot of retired law enforcement and current law enforcement, and they are great people. It's just an occupation. But this particular individual, know that I can't get past the onus of I can't, and I can always access an energy, but I can get blocked sometimes. And I'm going to tell you a short story. When I am blocked as a psychic and physical medium, it's because that entity doesn't want me to look. It's those people that are like, oh my God, I don't want to get around Ness because she'll know me. See, and that's why I gotta know. But you're you're an explorer, so you wanted to know more, and I couldn't really give you any more from that individual. But you do know now that this is a past lifetime and that this is a trickster in this lifetime. And I'm going to say this so that everybody understands. If there is someone that you love very much in this lifetime and you love that person so much and you do want to spend another lifetime with that person, say to that person, look for me in the next lifetime. If there is someone, yes, fell out of my mouth, and it's the dearest. I've never said it to anybody else, but I said, look for me in the next lifetime. And it made perfect sense to him. And he doesn't really talk like that. I mean, he's very, he's just a really nice guy. So moving forward in the reading, and then I'm sure I should probably stop. But know that if there is someone that causes you angst, it's an obvious signal, and you say, do not follow me to the next lifetime or any lifetime, past, present, future. Something like that. Because this guy is bad news Chuck, okay? And I'm sorry to say that. Right. But I get a no on this guy. I'm sure he's nice in another lifetime.
It's not just energetically. It's physically in this lifetime, too. He's not good. It's both. Double whammy?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just kind of searching for just something a little bit positive, not with him, just like, do you see me in a relationship soon? Like, does this clear out, something new comes in quickly? Or like, I've been single for years, many years.
Yeah. They're showing me the number 4. Now, we are in the 4 year, 2020 equals 4. So they're showing me the number 4. It might be a life path number for you right now. So do I see anyone for you in 2020? I get a no. Do I see anyone for you in 2021? I get a yes, and February looks good.
Okay. That's a bummer. Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? It's okay, because right now we're riding the wave of coronavirus, and I think I read an article today that this is going to be the bumping the grind through 2028, and that's like a bunch of years. So please understand that it's a protective measure for you, Jessica, that you, listen, the dating online is like a thing. So you can always like meet people online. I think that's just where it's going to have to go. So you got that going for you. Also, it's a protective measure. Really quickly, and then I'll defer to Barbara and Jonathan, but if you have a grandmother that has passed away, she is with you and watches over you. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I do have a passed over grandmother and two great grandmothers. Yeah.
So she watches over you a lot. This soul, and that's what our soul. That's, and I know I'm almost finished, Jonathan. I'm so sorry. Real quickly, Jessica, connect with this grandmother. Thank you. Connect with this grandmother, because that's why they went ahead of us, was to help you from the other side. So if you have deceased loved ones on the other side, I mean, I tell my people all the time, I tell my family, my dead, deceased family members, what are you going to do about this? What about that? You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's an assignment. And so I want you to put this grandmother on assignment to help you align with the perfect soul that you need in this lifetime.
Okay.
And write down what you want. It's amazing how it works. I mean, like, I write down recipes. I write down a list to go to the grocery store, and then it all comes to happen. I also write down beautiful things that I'm shown that will happen. For example, before Life, Laughter, and Happiness on Monday nights, I do that every show, and that's what you will do. Just write down what you want in this gentleman, and put your grandmother on assignment to help you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for the reading.
You're welcome, Jessica. You're welcome, Jessica.
Okay. Well,
that was one of the. Okay, hold on, Johnny. That was one of the most amazing, interesting readings. And you know what is so interesting is she seems like she is such a nice person that if this feeling was such a good feeling, paranormally, energetically, in all ways, she wouldn't care if he was a policeman. She would go for it. So, but the policeman thing was like confusing her. Am I really feeling this because of just his career, just because it's his job? No. Yeah. So this is a perfect example of go with your gut instinct. And it was a lot more than just what he does do for a living.
It was.
A lot more, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter what we do for a living, but it's the soul. And it might be his career, but this is definitely a past lifetime for Jessica. And I was shown the previous lifetime, and sometimes some readings are just meant to be like in a private scale. And that was one. But I loved it, Barbara, because it's like I haven't seen that in 20 years I haven't seen that, because it is people that follow us to, for example, this lifetime. Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay, I have one last question about it, though. Okay, when you first were saying that you're getting a block from him, does he know that he's blocking you? And does that mean, if he knows that, does he know that he is an intuitive?
Okay, that's a great question. No, he doesn't know that he's blocking me. I have spoken to some energy healers about this, and they say they know. Now, when I test it, I get a no. I just don't know how they could, because to me, if I'm being blocked, it is someone that's hiding something. You know, or someone who's very private. For example, Jonathan's sister's very private, so I can't access her. Yeah. And I felt badly about it, but it was like she was like, "Nope, you're not. Nope." And it's her higher self. That's what we're accessing. Is the higher self is the truest portion of it. It's deep down to the molecular and cellular level. The higher self is truth, which is what we access when we do muscle testing. Ego there, and there's no id there.
Right.
And so we make doubly sure. Yeah. And so, but he was like, I mean, I couldn't even go there. if somebody else could, I'm all ears, and I'm happy to learn something. Truly, but there are people. That's why I'm saying that people that hide things or are liars or are manipulative or sociopaths or psychopaths, narcissists. I can still read most of those people, but there will be that once in a while situation where all I get is a no. Is like and they said to me, my guides were saying to me, Jessica will want to know a lot more, Vanessa. And I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to say. I can't see anything. And then, but then my guides and your guides, my guides, everyone's guides, always access your guides. They are there to help you. And say to them, look, guys, here's how it's going to go. Don't make a fuss. Don't make it hard. Don't confuse me. Give me the straight skinny. Tell me exactly what I'm supposed to know. And they will.
But Vanessa, I think that might be something we bring you back for on our Roku channel, our Learn channel, because I'm still trying to tap into my guides, and I think I find one, and then nope, it's not the guide. Nope. And, except for that one time when I saw all the changing faces, like the totem pole thing. But to tap into the guide, I don't know if it's really connecting. I don't know. I mean, do you think that this is worth an hour show of you teaching us how to tap into our guides?
Oh, no, I don't think so, because I can tell you right now, it's oftentimes guides, listen, I know there are people out there that say, oh, my guide Elliot or my guide Ted or my guide Ellis, and I'm like, I don't even know. I might know a couple guides, and my guides, some of my team is Shamuel and Sumai, and those are both archangels, and they help me a lot. But I know I've got a team of guides. I just don't know their names. I just know they're talking to me. And I don't want to be dragged off to the loony bin because everybody has guides. That's what saves our life sometimes. I saved the life of someone back in 1985. This person stepped out in front of an oncoming bus. I was absolutely stunned that this person did it. And my guides were telling me, this person's going to step out in front of this bus. And I think it's because it was timing a light. The light was not changing, Barbara. And I grabbed this guy's jacket. It was cold out, and he had a wool jacket, long coat on. I grabbed him, and I mean, it was superhuman strength. This was a big guy. I pulled him back on the curb. He was angry at me and embarrassed. But you should have seen the bus driver. You should have seen his face and everybody else's face around. It's not about me, but it's the superhuman strength that comes through us when we are tapped into spirit. My guides told me, because I wasn't paying attention. Wow. It's those moments that say, do this, go here. Yes, it's intuition, and here's how you do it. Guides. I call them guides, G-U-Y-S. I mean, that's how I address them. I go, guys, hey, look, I'm going into life, laughter, and happiness tonight, and here's the deal. I tell them the same stuff every show. Y'all can't leave me hanging. You have to tell me 100% with accuracy and divine light. Each caller that calls in, I want them to have 100% accuracy. I want Barbara to have 100% accuracy. I want Jonathan to have 100% accuracy. You've got to help me understand, and don't let me go off in the weeds. You've got to help me. And that's what they do. I'm just a channel.
Okay.
And
I probably am overthinking it.
Well, we would, because you know what? People make it such a big hat trick, and it's not. It's a God-given right. I mean, you're a human being. I'm a human being. Jonathan's a human being. Everyone who calls in is one too. But we have all these gifts and talents. I mean, I would love to play the piano, but I just missed that. Okay. So I have other gifts and talents. And as do you, as does Jonathan. Jonathan's really good with technology. He knows how to make things work. And so do you, Barbara. And so it's when we tap into these gifts and talents, we just ask our guide to help it. And it's for anything. You know, it's if you want to be a good baker, you call in a great I call in all of the 100% divine light angels and guides that are superior at baking. If you think that's a joke, it's not.
Wow.
How about
if you just use it for everything? We should be using it for everything. Just take that little moment and ask.
Absolutely. Or let's say, here's a little something everyone can deal with. Let's say you want to look pretty. I'm not kidding you. Of the 100% divine light angels and guides who are super professional beauty experts and health experts to come to me now and help me with, I don't know, maybe you're getting ready for something, or you want to lose a little weight for something, or you want to be healthy. You create that team and call them in. They're angels and guides of 100% divine light. You might even feel a little crowded. You might even feel the presence, because I do. How about if you want to find, because, let's be honest. So a lot of people contact me for career, business. It's not the same thing, career and or business. They contact me for relationship, where's my true love, and money. And that's all resplendent requests. Those are smart requests. And so assigning these entities that are on the other side to help you find that girl or that guy, or to help you find, when Jonathan was setting up setting up the Roku channel for you, Barbara, and I was shown right away that there is a channel. There is a genre coming. It was a channel. It was going to be on a screen. And I signed here at my house, and I think this was like last fall or something. I can't remember. But I actually wrote out that there was a team assigned Jonathan to help him do that. I only did it one time. I only wrote it out one time, and that was it. And then the rest was the inspiration behind what Jonathan did. It's not me. I'm just a channel. I'm just directed to do X, Y, and Z. And it's the same thing for whatever we need. It's maybe you need $1,000. You say, I'm calling in 100% divine light angels and guides who know financing and banking now to source in $1,000 now. Or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, so these are things we are just sometimes forgetting that we have right there in our back pocket to use.
It's how we're educated. It's like, everything's supposed to be so difficult, and it's not.
Right.
But that's how we're trained. I remember when I was growing up, you know what I heard all the time? Here's what it was. Oh, my gosh, New York City is just, it's too big and too scary for you. You'll never make it. So I didn't go to New York City. And when I went to New York City, I'm like, what is going on? This is not anything like I was told. It's because people
That's because of the movie.
The movie?
Well, there always seems to be. I was talking to somebody about this in New York, and I was going to go to New York, and I said, okay, first of all, I would always mention all these movies like The Out of Towners, and any movie that's like portrayed as New York City. They're always portrayed as a city where you can't get anything done, you can't go anywhere, you're stuck in places. And
it sure isn't that way.
And what happened was that I was talking to them, and I said, I guess movies have kind of ruined New York. And then somebody barked right back at me. My girlfriend barked back at me, and she goes, do you want to know what movie ruined Atlanta and Georgia for you? It was the Deliverance.
Oh, I never saw it. Yeah, because they went to visit the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my point was that there are people that racist, or people that crossed our paths in school or something, who their fear was New York City, for example, or their fear was what would be out in West Virginia in the rivers, and in the wilderness, and they infuse that fear. It's our job to defuse everything that they infused, because if you think that you will not have true love, that's just balderdash. If there was someone had said to you, you'll never find true love now, that is just do the opposite and cancel what that person says. Cancel that fear. cancel that feeling that you're not good enough, and assign 100% divine light angels and guides come in to these shows. I sit here and I call on a team of the best orators ever, past, present, and future, in any universe, all universes, all solar systems, all galaxies. I mean, I go on and on. I call on Socrates. I call on Plato. I call on Shakespeare. I know I'm repeating myself because I think I've said this before. And I call in that team, and I can feel the shift in energy here, probably because I'm doing this all the time. And so to do this work that I do on life, laughter, and happiness, I'm very blessed that I am a psychic and medium, but everyone is. It's just that I take extra measures to call in these energies, these entities, because they're just on the other side. You know, it's just like Julie selling her house, you know, like next that she grew up in. She's got brothers and sisters, and they don't want to sell it. They were trying to find a way to hang on to it, but they couldn't, or they just got a good deal or something. But, you know, that grief that Julie's feeling, you call in the 100% divine light angels and guides. You assign the team of the best grief counselors ever to come in and help Julie. And I'll be doing that, but I'll be doing more than that here for Julie.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love all the callers because they believe in and they're aware of all of this, not all of it, but the subject matter, and that's great. There's so many people out there that are tapping into it and are believing and using it because it's such a huge part of our life that so many people are just turning their cheek to.
Well, we all need some good tools right now. And, you know, this 2020, it's going to pass. But when we have the tools right next to us, you know, look at Mark helping Priscilla. You know,
that's right. Would you
like
consider him, sorry to interrupt, but is he considered a spirit guide?
I got a yes on that. And, you know, that is interesting because deceased loved ones aren't always a spirit guide, and a deceased loved one doesn't always come back to family members. But I have seen it plenty of times. I mean, I've seen the most amazing things, and it's so funny because people will, I'll say, well, I saw this woman or I saw this gentleman, and they look like this, and they'll send me pictures. And I've had this happen for years, and that's who I saw in the reading, and it's like it's a parent that's passed away or an aunt that's passed away, and they're just right there on the other side. They are waiting to help. You know, it just makes things go faster and better for us when we call on help. You know, yes, you know, we pray to God. You know, prayer is always a great tool. Calling on and assigning entities on the other side is a fabulous tool to assist all of us.
Another tool, the muscle testing and the spirit guide. You know what? I'm glad that I asked that question because you really clarified that on how to use our spirit guides. And now that's another tool I have right now. Like that. Awesome. Okay, I've been overthinking it. You know, it's not that difficult. They're right there.
It's not fear, and they don't want us to have the truth. And that's just not for them to own. It's not that hard. It's like boom, like it's instant. It's in an instant. So that's what makes your day go. I mean, today, ready? Today I baked carrot cookies. I'm going to be 60 in January. I haven't baked. Well, Rich is so busy. He has, you know, there's really no planes going anywhere. He has to go to clients, so he's driving, right? And I don't want him out there on the road, you know, just going anywhere. So I made carrot cookies. I asked my grandma Stock to come help me make carrot cookies. I said, you got to help me make these carrot cookies. I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't want to have to, like, go back and redo this. It's a one-shot deal. And the carrot cookies came out well. Now, I think that would probably be a small feat to other people. But, you know, I grind my own flour. Yes, I do. I grind my own flour here.
Wow.
I know it's a machine. It's not that big a deal. But my point is, it's like I don't want to go back and reinvent the wheel to make these cookies. I want them to be right the first time, and I want them to be something that Rich likes. And they turned out great. I don't take all the credit for it. I'm just a but I called on my grandma's stock. And I actually felt her here. I got a little emotional, Barbara, making the cookies. Yeah.
I was just wondering if they appreciate that, you calling upon them.
Yes, it's true. Yes. So speaking to all of your callers, it's like, yes. I mean, here's Julie's dad. He's still traipsing back and forth in the house. She happened to call in, and he says there's like this and this. He keeps pointing down the stairs. He's there as a spirit guide. I mean, he's using all the tools on the other side. When we die, we just go to another place. But, the people whom we love are still here mourning us or grieving us, like, Julie's grieving her dad, right? So, but he's alive. I mean, he's back and forth. He's using all the tools. I mean, I learned a lot in that reading. And he was pointing her in a direction. Hey, you missed something down in the basement. And he went straight to the basement in the reading. So
I hope
she can
find something in there, like money.
Yes. I know, and I was going to say, when Julie talks to your dad, I said, talk to your dad. Ask him to show you exactly where it is. And I'm not kidding you. I've had this happen for me before. Back when I was in college, I was missing something. I'm not kidding you, I looked for it for 2 years. I won't tell you what it was, but I was led directly to it. I mean, directly to it when I asked. I'm not looking anymore. I'm assigning you to make me find it. I walked straight to it. You couldn't even have scripted this in a movie. And there it was, mystery solved. And that's
how wonderful
that's what they're there
feeling.
For. Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at it. It's like
I lost my selfie stick. And I was not getting this very strong feeling that it was at Echoes where I left where I knew was her daughter's Gucci headband. I wasn't getting that feeling. And I was, there. I thought that must be where I left it. And I just went for a walk literally while we were on the show. And just looking around, I'm like, oh, no, I got to put it on mute because there's a siren. And now I'm going to, but I was compelled to go walk by my vehicle. And I don't know why. I'm just like, I better just look in to the bed. It's a truck. There's a bed in it. There it was sitting. Why in the world would my selfie stick be there? It was.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad. You had the intuition to look that sometimes items go to another dimension. But I'm glad that you had the intuition to find your selfie. It was time for it to show up.
I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I never just look in there unless I might be at the car wash, and then I don't even look there either. Unless I put a furniture or a big box in there, which I can see from far away. I never just go look down in there.
Oh, I believe it. There's like
I love it when that happens.
I do too. It's your intuition, it's your energies, it's your auric field, and it's just such a singular, awesome thing to be able to come to Life, Laughter, and Happiness and talk about it. And I want to thank you and Jonathan for letting me come here on Monday nights to do that. I can't thank you both enough.
I was just thinking of that exact same thing. How wonderful. And I don't know any other place that people can come and just really express themselves this way and know that we understand them and we're here for them. And we're here to not just do that, but to help them with tools to help themselves and make these decisions quicker.
Absolutely.
More quickly.
Absolutely.
That was another great show, wasn't it, Johnny?
Yes, it was. Are you ready for the shout-out?
I am ready for the shout-out. Okay, wow. Sometimes I'm wondering does this wear you out, Vanessa? Because that's a lot of energy if I had to do what you do. I know you say that you're a channel, but still, you're you, too. I mean, the channel's working hard here.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Okay, everybody.
My honor.
wonderful, wonderful callers today. We thank all of you for taking the time to call in and sharing and asking your questions, and we hope that this helped you so much. We would love to hear back from you. If anything happens that you want to share, that would be awesome. Please find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Facebook is where we will be posting. I think that it's important for me to post something there to help people with the Roku channel and what to find next. So be looking for that soon, because we do have a wonderful brand new channel called Life, Laughter, Happiness, Learn on Roku. And a lot of people have Roku. I love it. I just got it because of our show, and it's amazing. So, and we're easy to find there under the educational category there. And just stop by our website, too. We have that. You can read about Johnny and I. If you don't know anything about us, you'll find that info there. And I told you how to find Vanessa Orr if you want to do a private reading. But I'll tell you again, she's active on Instagram, and her handle is Bomba11. Also, she has a website called FullSoulReadings.com. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Johnny, for everything you do. And thanks again, Vanessa.
Oh, my honor.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Jonathan. Thank you, Barbara. Love you guys.
You're welcome. Thanks.